This is the halftime show with Umar Nouri on 95.
Salam and welcome to the halftime show with Omar Duri. I am your host, cover everything sport, international and local. Coming up on the show today, Yasmin is an air rifle shooter who discovered her talent from a young age. Her mom came across the shooting range in Sharjah and suggested her daughter take part. Now, despite playing handball and basketball, she excelled in what comes across a rare sport and became and represented the UAE national team. She recently received a bronze medal in the 2021 Gulf competition in Sharjah and another bronze in the Arab Championship. And she now aspires to be successful in the Olympics, Asia, and World Championships in Sharjah. And she's coming up right after the break.
This is the halftime show with Umar Nouri on 95.
Salam and welcome to the halftime show with Omar Duri. My guest Yasmin Tahlak here is on the show. Welcome, Yasmin, to the show.
Thank you.
How are you
for having
doing?
me. I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm doing very well. Now, Yasmin, this is like me and you getting to know each other all over again. The difference is we have a bit of an audience with us, and I've heard about your story, but I love the way your story started, and I want you to tell us more about it. So, your journey and the role that your mom played in it was amazing. How did it start for you, and why this sport?
Well, so as I mentioned, yes, like my mother initially, just read an article and all of it, but from the very beginning, in a young age, while I was at school, I was kind of, a very hyper person, and I wanted to try everything. So I used to just go everywhere, try basketball, handball, even maybe a little bit of volleyball and everything like that. And it was always just to, keep me busy. I've never thought of pursuing that sport as, as a like professional, like kind of thing. And it was like my mom was like, she saw that, I just keep on going here and there and don't know what to choose. And then she's like, she also suggested me other sports like tennis as well. I tried a couple of classes, and then we came across shooting as well. So once I tried it, I felt like, okay, I think this is, it just pulled me in. I don't remember thinking even, like, I just know it pulled me in a couple of months. I just became a member of the national team. It's, what I think is what drew me to it is the perfection, because I'm a very, like I like to organize things and everything. So the appearance of my target when it came, like, just one shot after the other on top of the other, and it's so clean. I feel like this is, I think that drew me to it, and I just started. I wanted more perfect and more perfect.
Just by
So
you
I feel like
speaking about it, when you speaking about it and the way you use your hands and the way you're pointing, I'm thinking she's aiming for something here.
yes.
You know what I mean? It's pretty unique because firstly, it's so nice to hear that families are like supporting the young ones to get into sport. That's the first thing. The second thing is you said that you kind of felt, okay, I can see something in this. But were you good at it straight away, or is it something that you kind of picked up gradually?
I wouldn't say I was good at it, although everyone that were around me were saying like, you are very good for a start. So I think this, like, as I mentioned before, I've never thought of pursuing any sport professionally, but the surrounding there at the range kind of pushed me to give it a thought, because there were other professional shooters as well at that time, and they were shooting good and all of it. So they, like, I think the surrounding, the people that were around me pushed me to do it.
Nice. What kind of surroundings was it, and what kind of environment for those that have never done it before? What kind of environment do you step into when you step into a shooting range?
um it was like, for me, when I stepped into the range for the first time, it was like a quiet place, and everyone with serious faces, so concentrated, and I was like, okay, they must be doing something very serious,
Mm.
you know so when I got into it, and then I realized what's all the seriousness. So and the way they bring it up to me is like, you're doing something great. So for me as a kid, getting, like compliments from, elders and my coach, for example, all of them, it was like motivate, kind of something motivational, it was
Mm.
motivating.
Because you said you were hyperactive and you were always moving around and stuff.
Yes,
Were you
yes.
ever were you ever close to like pursuing like the basketball or handball or like you said tennis? Was it ever a way you were going to sway off, or was it always once you discovered shooting you went straight into it?
No, I just went straight into it. I've never considered anything else. Once I got introduced to this, I calmed down.
I like that. I like the fact
Yeah.
also it was made in Sharjah, and being a Sharjah radio show. When I heard that, I thought this is really cool because we talk about like on the show we talk about international and local. Now, because obviously this whole concept, the story was made in Sharjah, but you represent the national team. You've taken it literally from Sharjah to the world. Is that something, do you ever go back to that range in Sharjah, or are you based in different ranges now? Or do you ever look back and
No, no,
think,
we are
wow,
based in Sharjah. Yeah,
mm,
we still go there. There is like a dedicated professional range and everything. So I just go there every day.
okay,
So
okay,
I'm personally from Dubai, so I travel every day there.
right, right. Join the club.
And I remember when I was like when I started as well, my mom used to do this for me. Like she used to take me there. So for approximately maybe 4 or 5 years, she was the one to take me there to the range every day. So that's
Okay.
how much the family and I, passionate about it.
Yeah, yeah. That's it's again for me, it is truly unique to kind of hear that. What's what's the thing about shooting that keeps you, you said calm, but you also said hyper, and the two things, how do you balance that through shooting?
Um, with time, like as I grew older, maybe I just kind of, maybe it was just a phase where I was when I was a child, and I used to like I didn't know what to do. I used to try all sorts of things. Nothing really interested me. I didn't even pay attention that much in school. So I was kind of, a little bit, I wouldn't say lost, but everything is interesting.
Mm,
And so once I found something that caught my attention, everything, like all of it, went into that sport. And I don't really have to balance anything right now, because this is just, I think this is who I am, while I'm where I found my the, like, maybe passion, I would say, or
mm,
something that's really interesting for me. I would like to do it for the rest of my life, let's
mm.
say.
Very well said. You know, when you again, because you use your hands and you're a visual person, I started
Yeah.
seeing the screen kind of
Yes, yes. So
going
so
in.
that little kid that was all around, it
Yeah.
just all came one, and it just, like, it formed me,
Yeah,
kind
I
of a
love it.
thing.
I love it. Okay, cool. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to ask her more about preparation as well. As I'm fascinated to hear how, as she said, this little kid got some balance through shooting.
This is the halftime show with Umar and Duri on 95.
Salam and welcome back to the halftime show. I told you I bring you local and international superstars. So this is a two-in-one combination right here. Yasmin Tahlak is here on the show. And I have to say, the way she got into it was really fascinating. But Yasmin, I'm really intrigued to know more about preparation. How do you prepare for shooting? What do you do? Do you have routines? Do you do things away from the shooting range? Tell me more about that.
So during my trainings, the preparation before trainings are basically just, like, a few warm up, like a few minutes of warm up before the training, and then later you have a warm up, because shooting sport is basically you just have to not move, and stretching after a 2-hour practice is very much needed.
Interesting.
But before matches, so since it's not much of a very physical sport,
Mhm.
so we have this, like, I try to prepare myself more of mentally rather than physically before matches.
Okay.
So what happens is I try to isolate myself for a couple of days before the match and during that match day as well, because it kind of helps, because whenever, like, it's something like, people come around you, they're being thoughtful, like, are you nervous? Oh, you'll do great and all of this. Yes, they give advices before your match sometimes. But I like, for me personally, I feel like these these comments and advices kind of are unnecessary just right before your match, because they influence you, and they kind of trigger those emotions and thoughts before the match, make you much more nervous maybe, or something like this. So I just try to isolate myself before matches. I just, like, I talk to my family. Yes, I'm fine, I'm here or there, I'm doing well, and that's it.
Mm. It's very interesting, the turn of your warm up and your focus and your stretching, which is normally in sport the other way around. You normally would stretch, get everything ready, and then go into it. But you mentioned warm up, and for those that don't know, how do you warm up for shooting? Like, what is it that you do?
Our warm-ups are very, like, they're not very intense. We just
Mhm.
have to stretch our muscles a little bit, to be like, the back muscle especially is very, especially the back and legs.
Okay.
So we do a couple of stretches, like a couple of things on the back and then on the legs, and then we go into, like, I try to, like, for me, because shooting is kind of an individual sport, and people react to things differently, so you just have to find what's suitable for you. So
Yeah.
for me, I find it suitable for me just to do a very few stretches before the shooting, and then go there. But after that, I try to, um, like, have a more intense session of stretching with, for example, maybe we have a physiotherapist at the club. I go there sometimes after my practices.
Mm.
So yeah, so it's, for me, it's everything after, not before, because before I try to be as calm as possible, lower the heart rate, and be prepared and everything, just,
Very
to
interesting.
have. Yeah.
I've never heard of that before, and I've been doing this for a while now. So listening to you now, it really does make me think of the type of mental strength required to stay calm before the storm and then to be kind of more relaxed, right? Is that similar to what you were saying?
Yes, yes. So it's sometimes, like, for example, let's say during my finals when I was shooting, it's literally like you're holding the rifle, you're aiming, and you can just see how your heart beats.
Mm,
It's to that level. You can
yeah.
actually see the rifle move on your heartbeat.
Okay. Now that you've said that, and I didn't have this in mind until you inspired me to ask this question, but do you do much breath work or focus on like breathing?
Yes, we do. We have these exercises. It's required for us. And when we
Okay.
do, it's like, it happens automatically then during matches and everything. We just have to train ourselves, train, and then it's just something automatically you do. We don't even notice now that we're doing some exercises during our day, or, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Wim Hof, by the way?
I don't know.
So what I'm going to do after the show is I'm going to share that with you because you might be doing that already, but it helped me get
Hmm.
through COVID like a couple of years ago. And he masters like breath work and like ice baths. I don't know if you're into that, but ice baths and all sorts of stuff. But it's really remarkable because it links to managing stress, anxiety under pressure. And based on what you
Hmm.
say, it's quite a high pressured situation that you're in. So
Yes.
it just got me thinking. Um, Also, are you always focused on shooting, or do you take time away?
Uh, I wouldn't say I take time away. It's for me to know when I'm overloaded with training or practice. It's just I notice that my performance during training starts to decline a little bit. Here's when I get this alarm, like the red flag. Okay, you need to have a break. Stop here,
Mm,
because you've been overloaded. So I just take a couple of days, maybe a week maximum, out of the range. I don't go to the range, and I try not to think, even though it's hard.
mm.
I try not to think about about my rifle.
Yeah.
yeah, so a couple of days here and there. I just go out maybe with a few friends, family, and look rebuild my social life kind of thing. Because
Yeah,
during with the trainings, I kind of don't have a social life, let's say. But
yeah.
with these breaks, I do, yeah,
Have you have
go
you
out
got
here.
have you got used to that now? You know, when you're an athlete and when you're someone that competes at a high level, is that become normal for you now?
It's I would say it has always been normal for me.
Mm.
I'm very much a private person, and I kind of enjoy my alone time as well. So
Excellent.
it's not something I had to adapt to.
Mm.
It's there.
Just a true professional.
Yeah. We can
um,
say this, yes.
last question before we take a break. How do you reset?
Um, to reset, I guess it's I would say it's just like I mentioned, have some time away from the range, and just do some other things that I like. For example, I like to have those Lego sets. I have a lot of them, so I just sit and build,
Okay.
you know, or read books, maybe something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm
Are they
kind
are
of,
they big? Are they big Lego sets? Are they like,
yeah, the Lamborghini one I have, and
oh,
the big
okay.
cars. They're very
Right. You taking
interesting
it to
too.
another level now.
Yes.
Okay. See, my wife wouldn't let me get those because if I start on those, I'm not getting off it.
It's actually very, it takes just a week to put it together.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
much of time I spend on every
yeah,
day doing it.
yeah. How often do you recycle them? Do you pick up new ones? Do you work on the old ones? Well, I'm really interested.
No, I just collect them. I love looking at them. It's just okay.
Right.
I've done that. I put them together and just stay there. I come into my room. I look. Oh
Yeah.
my god, so beautiful.
Yeah. That collection must be amazing.
Yeah, actually, I've got a couple. Yes.
The thing is, normally when you look at Lego, you look down. You looked up. That worries me. They're all
At the
around
shelf.
you.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. And when we're going to get back, we're going to talk more to Yasmin Tahlak, who's been fantastic on the halftime show on Pulse 95 Radio.
This is the halftime show with Umar Nouri on Pulse 95.
Welcome back to the halftime show. We're having a good time here. I never thought that we'd be talking about Lego on a shooters episode. But you know what? That's the genius behind the people we bring on here. And I'm delighted to have Yasmin Tahlak here, who's having a good time. By the way, for those that don't know, she hasn't had an interview for a while. So I'm honored to have had her on this show right here for you guys on Pulse 95 Radio. And if you do miss the show, don't worry, you can catch all of our episodes on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud if you prefer a podcast, or if you want a visual, head over to our YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio, and you will see her there without the Lego, but you will see her there on the show here on Pulse 95. Yasmin, I want to get to know more about the athlete now. We talked about the person, we talked about the things that you like doing, the way that you reset, how it started for you. But tell me more about the person you are and how do you embrace challenge?
Um, for me, embracing challenge is basically you have to believe in yourself. There's nothing else. If you believe in yourself, you can do anything you ever want in this world. Basically, whatever you want to achieve or get or perfect, anything. The main the main part is I've learned it the hard way, because there were some times where I felt like, okay, I can't, overcome that particular maybe level or score, for example. But here and there, and people around me who support me always say that if you don't believe in yourself that you cannot do it, no one is going to do it for you. So
Mm.
have that belief, and the rest is just practice.
Yeah, where does that belief come from? Is that something you've always had or something you've built up over time?
Let's say it's coming from family, from my close friend, and over time, I guess, because this is something, okay, anyone can tell you, yeah, you have to believe in yourself, but
Mm.
if you're not truly convinced with this, then no one can convince you in it. So it just came over time, I suppose, because when I started to think, yes, okay, why I'm not doing it, and why am I not trying even harder, and or something like this. So I believe now in myself that hard work and like that 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 passion, that want inside of you can reach you places.
I like that. I like that. And with belief comes aspirations, and with aspirations come goals. So tell
Yeah.
me, what aspirations do you have despite having achieved, what you've achieved so far to date?
So yeah, it's a first step for me. I can look at it as a first or second step maybe, since this is the championship was an Arab championship. So I want to go further. I want to reach the highest point of professionalism, let's say, in this shooting sport. So it's like Asian and then world, and keep my ranking there, and then hopefully to the Olympics. So because once I remember participating in the Youth Olympic Games,
Mhm.
which was in 2014. So I remember the feeling of being there, and I remember myself thinking that, okay, I'm in the Youth Olympic Games. I would really want one day to go to the big games with the
Mm,
big guys,
yeah.
there.
Were you nervous going into the youth games?
I remember now that I was not so much nervous. Maybe I was just like 17 or
Hmm.
18, so I did not much realize how big of a deal was it. So I was fine. Okay, it's another competition. Let's go.
Mm.
I
No,
was more
that's cool.
nervous carrying the flag there. I was the flag bearer, so I was more nervous carrying the flag than
Really?
shooting on my match day. Okay, and it was heavily raining, so I was like, okay, let me not slip in front of thousands of people. Okay,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. So you had more pressure carrying the flag and not slipping than you did actually
Yes,
shooting.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You come across, and this is the first time obviously we've met, but you come across as someone who's quite calm and reserved. But when we started this interview, you were talking about like how hyper you were. Do we still see that inner child in you nowadays? And if so, what is it that you do to get that out? There you go. That's a good question.
It is weak spots. Okay. Um, I do come across as a calm person. That's just because I'm shy. I might say that I'm a shy person, but once I have a good conversation maybe with the person, or I feel comfortable, and only then you can see, like, okay, she is a little bit childish. She likes, like, I like Pokemon, let's say.
Okay.
And
Okay.
even people say this is childish, but yet I have a collection of Pikachus and
Yeah.
Charmanders and all of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So once I have a good connection with the person or something, then only then, like, you can see like what kind of a person. And sometimes also I carry around bags with the Pokemon, the
Yeah.
fluffy shapes.
Yeah.
So little details here and there, you can notice that this person is kind of okay with a straight face, but there is a soft thing, a
Yeah. Yeah.
soft spot there.
Yeah. And she's a shooter, so don't mess with her.
Well, yeah, addition to that though.
Those, by the way, again, you'll know more about this than I do. I'm learning from you here. Those Pokemon collectibles, they're like massive. Like it's not like a small thing in the world, if I'm not wrong. What's your
Yeah.
most precious one?
For me, I honestly, I don't have a precious one. They're all similarly precious to me. I just
Yeah.
collect the figures and all of this and just keep them there. It's
Yeah.
not like I'm not into the world where people have like the most expensive
Mm,
piece or the collection. I just like them because they come out of my childhood, so I keep
yeah.
those memories. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. See, I'm getting to know you already through what you're saying. Um,
Yeah.
is there something that, for example, your fans or the viewer right now or the listener on radio wouldn't know about you that would surprise them?
I would say I hear this a lot from people who just know me, and then when they come to talk to me and everything, they tell me that I look angry all the time. And
Angry? Really?
yes, I get this comment a lot. Like I do, I
Okay.
have like this kind of a straight face, a non-approachable face or something like this. But in fact, if you just talk to me, I will be fine. Like, you know, I'm very nice.
Yeah.
Even with a straight face, you just have to talk to me because I'm shy. This, like, you know, this is the
Right.
shy face, not the
Yeah.
angry face.
Yeah. By the way, for the record, I never saw you like that. Just for the record. It's probably because they know you're a shooter. That's probably why they're worried.
Uh, I don't know,
Um,
maybe.
we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we got our final segment. I can't believe it's full time already on the halftime show, but Yasmin Tahlak has been incredible on the show. I'm gonna continue one more segment for her right after the break.
This is the halftime show with Umar Adouri on 95.
Salam and welcome back to the halftime show. I mean, if you asked me before the show, would we be talking about all these interesting things on this show? I probably would have never guessed we would go from Sharjah to Pokemon to Lego to shooting. And that's what tells you that this athlete right here has more to her than just the gun. Yasmin Tahlak is here on the show. Yasmin, I have to ask you, um, now that you're in a position to set the trail for others to follow the sport, and not just the sport, but females competing at the highest level in sport, it's no longer a gender thing anymore. What message would you have out there for the aspiring youth?
I would like to pass a message of, girls should be doing sports that even are unusual, like shooting, for example. And the main thing here is that the family support. I would love to, there are a few young shooters in our range whom I always say, like, you can do, and you have a, like, long road ahead, and don't just, give up after a year or two, because this is what usually happens sometimes. So a year or two, and they see themselves that, like, they're not moving or something. I would say this is not enough. You should, if you really like the sport, then you should stay in it. And this sport in particular is a sport where you really have to understand everything and love it, and never come to the range when you don't want to, for example, or you don't
Mm,
want to, like, practice that. Because if you don't want and you're going to do something by force, it's not going to work.
mm,
So I had like a couple of examples. I've seen this, and yeah. So, and the main thing here is that the family should support them wherever or whatever they do.
mm.
I This is going to be really good. And we could build a team, because shooting is not only as an individual sport, there is also a team category. So it's going to
Okay.
be really, really good.
Would you teach me?
I would, yes.
Okay. One day I'm gonna rock up to that shooting range and I'm gonna say, Yasmin, I'm all yours. These hands are yours now. Make sure you teach me how to do this properly. No, but on a serious note, I loved your message there. And I think it's so important in terms of family and in terms of people approaching this sport. Um, to do it right, to do it properly. You've done that. That's why you've achieved what you've achieved and you want to achieve more. Um, why do you think there is a stigma behind this? Not just with girls or women, but this sport specifically. Why is there a stigma in this region about it? Because let's face it, we got some incredible ranges here. You know what I mean? So why is there this stigma?
I would say because, once people hear like shooting, they kind of associate, maybe they associate this kind of shooting with the shotgun shooting,
Mm,
which is a very much more aggressive type of shooting.
yeah.
Our shooting is very quiet. It's like, sometimes people joke around and say, like, this is the most boring game ever. Because from the outside, the audience see nothing. They just hear those shots that are not even that loud.
Yeah.
So it's just the word. So I feel like, this type of shooting has to be more, kind of put out there to the world. And maybe people have to, get like, read about it. Like, there's not just shotgun and
Yeah.
it's loud. No, there is the pistol, air pistol, air rifle. You have different categories there. So it's just, I think, just because of the word shooting, and they're like, oh my God, aggression,
Mm.
violence. But
Yeah.
actually, it's a very, very soft, I wouldn't say soft, a very sensitive sport
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
that is very much, I think, suitable for girls because,
Yeah.
the the calm and you know,
Yeah. You've taught me something new now. A soft and sensitive sport. It's almost like I want that to be the title, because people will be like, "Well, what is it? What is it?" And then you tell them, and they'll be like, "Okay, maybe we'll try that." It's
yeah,
very
maybe because
different.
yes, it is indeed a soft and very sensitive, and like every movement, every inch, every like millimeter, it does a huge impact on your shot. So I look at it as a very sensitive and soft
Amazing,
thing.
amazing. Before I let you go, you've been terrific today, actually. Before I let you go, where can we follow you?
I have just Instagram.
Okay,
I
okay,
just recently opened as well.
okay.
Yasmin Tahlak. It's just my name.
Yeah, and I believe you post your training videos on there, right?
Yeah, it's just pictures, trainings, or my final matches. For example, like a few
Yeah,
is there. I
yeah.
just started to build up. I've opened it maybe a year ago. I didn't have social media before, so
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, I'm definitely gonna follow you. That's for sure. And I might hold you up against that offer one day when you're not busy and you're not like occupied with everything else, and then you can show me how the professionals do it. Because you've been so professional on the show that I thought I need to now try her sport now and see if I can do anything that she's doing.
Inshallah, why not?
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you very much, Yasmin. You've been outstanding. So happy to have had the chance to interview you, and I can't wait till the show goes out to everyone. And
That's
your
my
your
pleasure.
your followers and your fans will be able to see, those extra little nuggets that we had in here that maybe they wouldn't have known outside. Well
That's my
done.
pleasure. Thank you for having me, and yeah,
My absolute pleasure. Remember, you can catch our shows every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 to 4 UAE time. And if you do miss them, don't worry. You get a chance to catch up on YouTube and Pulse 95 Radio. The videos will be on there, and the podcast will be on Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Take care. Salam alaikum. Have a fantastic day. And we will see you soon.